Hi, everybody. Dan Ullman, Matt Bernier. The DRF.com Formulator Race of the Day for Friday, May the 12th is race number 5 at Santa Anita. We're going down the hill at about 6.5 furlongs. This is a California-bred optional claimer for fillies and mares, and let's take a peek at this field. Please head on over to the Race of the Day event page on DRF.com. Download those free Formulator past performances and handicap along with us as we take this field in post-position order. And we have a newbie to the turf ranks, the number 1, So Here's the Thing, by the Pamplemousse, who has gotten off to a pretty strong start with first-time turf performers.
3 for 13, so it's a small sample size, but when you're batting just a shade under 33%, it's not anything to sneeze at. Scott Rollins is not a particularly positive move dirt to turf past 5 years, 0 for 19. 7 of them hit the board, though. I see that most recent big drill going 5/8 and 59-2 down on the inside. I think they got to go.
I think they got to go, and I think she will be forwardly placed after showing some sharp speed on the dirt. And while the Pamplemousse does have that limited positive data on turf thus far, not a lot of turf on the bottom of this pedigree. The Dam was a stakes winner on dirt, 0 for 2 on turf, and she's foaled 2 turf runners, and none of them have won on the surface. The number 2 is Her Unbridled Power, and I want to look at the Timeform US pace projector for our Formulator Race of the Day. The good folks at Timeform believe that the pace will not be fast. It will favor horses up close to the pace, and they have Her Unbridled Power right on the lead, adding blinkers.
If that plays out, she's very, very dangerous because, again, Diodoro usually, and you brought it up right before we came on, usually don't see the claim and then kind of a bomb, which was what we saw from this filly. But she comes back, and you just look at the pedigree. The calf weighs about 10% turf. Not terrible, but not great. She's a half to Singing Kitty, though. And Singing Kitty, multiple stakes winner. She's also won a stakes race going down the hill from Matt Chu. So this is an interesting horse. She has pedigree. If you believe she can get out there, I think she's dangerous.
And I wouldn't hold that one turf start against her. It came all the way back on April Fool's Day of 2016. And she ran into Be Mine, who was in very good form. Be Mine came off of that win to run second in the Grade 3 Senorita, and then second in the Grade 2 Honeymoon, with buyers of 88 and 89. That Timeform US pace projector makes this a live long shot. The number 3, Lost in Lexington, first start off the Phil D'Amato claim. That's always a very interesting angle. And this is a horse returning to turf. She's done the majority of her damage on a synthetic surface, however.
Yeah, and you know what? You just look at her turf form. I don't think that run at Santa Rosa was terrible, but then she went to Golden Gate and it just didn't work out. And you look at it overall, I understand the Dam. She did a lot of nice things on turf. She started 9 times, 3 wins, 4 second-place finishes. Progeny haven't really done anything, and you look at it, kind of a peculiar D'Amato formulator fact. Past 5 years, first after the claim, 61 to 180 day layoff, 0 for 7, only 1 of them hit the board. And it's small sample size, but usually with a guy like D'Amato, when it's that sort of stark one way, I take notice.
Usually with a guy that's 24%, that's a big move, even a big negative formula. In fact, even with the limited data. The key to this race, let's be honest, is the number 4, Algorithmic, who first off the Mike Mikowski claim ran a hole in the wind going down the hill on April the 6th. She did it against open starter, $40,000 allowance horses, and she did it while up close to the pace. But if she runs that buyer back, she's winning again.
Clearly. I mean, straight away, if she runs the 87, it's a winner. You look at the Timeform US rating of 104. If she runs that, she wins. The question now becomes, do you think that she's going to replicate that? And if you think that's how the Timeform US pace projector, if you believe that that's how it plays out, where does she take up residence? That had her parking off of the 2. That's not a terrible position to be in, but you had brought it up too. Boy, she got a really good ride from Talamo, and you almost want her to be more into the running, don't you?
Yeah, it just seemed like she hulked up a little bit once she got to the front, and Joe just was very aggressive with her down on the inside. Once she was able to make the lead, she set a rated pace and spurted on home. This is a slightly tougher field. She's in good form. I think Joe's going to be aggressive, but if the 1 and the 2 want to go, I think she has no choice but to sit off. The Algorithmic formulator factors for Mikowski, it's limited positive data with last out winners on the turf over the past year, 20% and a $2.58 return on investment. Conversely, we have a negative formulator fact for the number 5 Yodel Songs trainer, Vladimir Serin. And we're going to take a look at that right now. Over the past 5 years, with 3-year-olds and up moving from dirt to turf, only 2% with a 17-cent ROI. Yodel Song moves dirt to turf in the first start off the trainer change.
This is just a tough one for me to try to make a big case for. We haven't seen much as far as form overall is concerned. 0 for 2 on the turf. I think this is a pretty decent group. I would be surprised if she jumped up in a big way and beat everyone.
Kind of needs a fast pace, which would go against what the Timeform U.S. pace projector has in store for the number 5 Yodel Song. The 6 Wind Me Now, I like the profile of these horses, usually very lightly raced. She's getting a turn back, and she faced a sneaky good field last time out in that allowance race. All that heat, the third finisher came back to beat basically similar foes as these with an 80-plus buyer. Mai Tai, the winner of that race, came back to run second against open allowance horses with an 84 buyer, and she seems like she has a very versatile running style. I think she's interesting.
Yeah, I don't have any real knock against her other than the run two back. I thought it was very good, but she did have a pretty good pace scenario if you look at the internal splits, something to run at. And I have to be honest, out of that race, there's another horse in this race that I prefer over her.
The 7 Lady Espionage, first-time winner, slow buyer improvement. She's going to need to improve a lot more in order to contend for the win spot, but there's no reason why she can't. And she looks like a true downhill specialist. She's really improved since going down the hill.
She really has. Michelle Delasi's numbers aren't good over the past 5 years, but this filly really just continues to take steps forward. She's a little light on figs. But if you want to sort of try to make a projection going forward, the horse that she ran down, and she did run down Spin Me a Kiss most recently, she came back to break her maiden with an 86 buyer. So there are some positives here if you like this horse.
I wonder if that fig last time out was compromised by the slow pace.
Probably.
You rarely see those 45 and 1s on firm turf going down the hill. And the fact that Lady Espionage came from mid-pack and still got a sharp horse is a very good sign for her. The 8 is 2B Ava, who has not raced on turf since her career debut way back when. This is a horse that might show a little bit of speed, but it's a tough spot.
I think the turf helps. I just don't know that it helps enough. This is a half to a horse called Could Be Trouble, 4 for 6 lifetime in turf. So there is a little bit of turf in here. We already talked about the calf lanes earlier. I agree. I don't think good enough, but I think you get an improved effort on the turf.
Let's throw up our top selections for Friday's Formulator race of the day. I just thought Algorithmic's race was solid, but I would have to use other horses. I would also use the 6 Wind Me Now and your top selection, the 9 Mizzen Glory. All 3 of those horses, for me, are used in multiple race bets.
Yeah, Algorithmic, I think if she runs that most recent race, she wins, just plain and simple. The problem I have, I think she's going to get absolutely pounded at the window. She might be in the ballpark of even money. Mizzen Glory, I think, is a horse that's got a little bit of dirtied up form. The 2 most recent starts draw lines through them, both of them on the dirt for Cliff Sice. You get back to the turf. This is going to be the first time going down the hill. You never know until they do it, but I'd like to think that that's going to be beneficial for her. And we talked about the 6, Wind Me Now. The 9 Mizzen Glory, they both came out of that common race going 2 turns. And if you watch the race, Mizzen Glory has nowhere to go going into the far turn. Tyler Bay is basically standing up, saying, we can't go on, we're not going to run over heels. Finally, when she does get a little bit of running room at the end, she comes on. I think the idea is for Flavien, sit out there, watch everyone else do their thing, turn them for home, make your move, and try to run them down the center of the track.
Now, she's a very interesting horse, so what could be a solid price? Give the folks the numbers.
Going 9-4-7-2, acknowledging Algorithmic way the horse to beat.
4-6-9 for me in our Formulator race of the day. If you happen to be playing the Santa Anita Friday card from home, please sign up to DRF Bets if you haven't done so already. If you do, we invite you to be a VIP for a week. All you have to do is go to drfbets.com/VIP. You start with a $300 bonus. Trust me, there's lots of other good stuff there on DRF Bets. Approximate post time for race number 5 at the Great Race Place on Friday afternoon, 3 o'clock Pacific. Best of luck.